either if it's not, you know, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, and you'll take care of it, right?
You bet.
All right, Ray, we really appreciate it. Thanks again for being a part of the GNCC Racing Nation, man.
Sure enough, we appreciate it.
Ray Butts from over at RockyMountainATVMC.com. And one other person I wanted to give a shout out to here today is Alex from the American Motorcyclists Association, the sanctioning body of the Grand National Cross Country Championship. And Alex, welcome back to another fresh season. I know, just like the rest of us here that are gathered here on the Robin Plantation for this GNCC, you're excited, you're ready to go.
No, absolutely. You know, our AMA members at this event, they're some of the best off-road riders in the world. I will defend that to the day I stay at the AMA. I watched these guys the last few years, and I'm excited in a few short months to hand out some AMA National #1 plates to some of the riders on this field right now.
That is pretty cool. I know that's a great feeling for you to be able to be that person handing those #1 plates over.
Absolutely. You know, it's really special as a former racer. I'm still a racer myself. I always wanted one. I wanted someone to hand one, so hand one to me. But so the idea of getting to hand them out to other people and make people's dreams come true, that's awesome.
It is. And the AMA, we talk a lot about it from a racing standpoint, but the one thing that we got to remind folks, the American Motorcyclists Association is for motorcyclists all across the land, street, dirt, trail, whatever, ATVs. I mean, that's what the AMA is there, fighting for the rights and protecting those rights and freedoms of riders.
Absolutely. You know, your membership revenues are not only just for the racing department, but they go to keeping lands open. Every day we get press releases about millions of acres of land that have been closed by the government that we go in and we fight, and not only from a off-road standpoint, but a road standpoint. You know, motorcycle checkpoint issues, we are always out defending those riders, every one of our AMA members.
And of course, right now with this new season, we have a lot to look forward to. We have a lot to be excited about. And you, my friend, have got a lot of work to watch a lot of racing this year, it looks like. I'd love to have your job.
You're more welcome to come. We'd love to have you. I'm excited. Again, I just want to congratulate everyone on behalf of all the AMA members. When I say that you truly are some of the best off-road riders in the world, I really mean it. I've watched it for the past few years, and it's really special, and I want to wish everyone good luck. Be safe, keep wheels down, and have some fun. Thank you.
All right, Alex there from the American Motorcyclists Association. And it looks like, my friends, we may just about be there. We just got the official word coming in from the officials themselves, and they let us know that it's about that time, my friends. It is time to get GNCC up and rolling. And now, your starting lineup for this, the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. Rolling to the line first today. After capturing his first ever XC1 GNCC title in 2015, he rolls in here to Florida with a fresh new #1 hanging on the side of that machine. Riding on board the Infab and Pro Yamaha, backed by Maxxis Tires, MXP, and Graphics Word from Rogers, Ohio. Championship last year in second place points. Today he comes with the heart of hoping to open up with a season win and to try and dominate the 2016 season from West Union, West Virginia. PirateMX.com. Rolling to the line today, third. He was third in points, aboard the #3 this year as he moves one more step up in the rankings. Hailing from Casca, Pennsylvania on JARROD.com. Last time we saw Jared McClure, he was standing in the center of the box after winning the Ironman GNCC. Welcome to Jared McClure! Rolling to the line today, fourth. He was one minute after last year's championship. He's a six-time GNCC champion, ready to come back and stake his claim and claim his title as the #1 man. 72 wins and the most wins of any number 11 from Manchester, Maryland. On a show hauler, Max's sidebar back Honda, LW, Landon Wall. Number 733. Pennsylvania. He finished last year top 6 overall. Pro-Am champion on impact or on a Yamaha, Cole Richardson. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 816 from Grady Valley, Missouri. Welcoming on board the Honda, WYATT. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? Second, and row number 1, the XC1 Pro will be off and rolling at our Moose Racing.
AMSOIL for any engine. Maxxis tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Daytona International Speedway is synonymous with four-wheeled action, but getting airborne on four wheels, well, that's a new experience. Come check it out on Tuesday afternoon with the second annual Fly Racing ATV Supercross right here at Daytona International Speedway. Come watch high flyers like defending series champion Chad Wienen, challengers like Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, and Jeff Rastrelli, and last year's Supercross winner John Natale this Tuesday right here at Daytona.
How's my zoom? You want me to go in or leave it where it's at?
That. Eric is 5 over the radio. I mean, you need to get out there.
Fucking sun stays away.
What?
So hopefully this fucking sun stays away.
No, I want it to come out.
Are you guys going over to Supercross tonight?
Yeah. I think so.
I'm thinking about it. Tickets are like $45. I just looked.
Do we need tickets though?
Yeah. funny, because we already have a parking pass.
Alright, Josh, we should see him at your shot first.
All I have to do is call him and look at the
Okay.
number that's on that bag. And then he can tell us it, and then he would tell you.
No, they entered the track at after the finish line where that was, so you guys are just going to have to wait for him to do basically a whole 6-minute lap.
What's that?
We got free nasty that could have been in it. Like you got Ocean last year. I think this has been twice today. We got that one.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Man,
is
it's
just
terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing a good job though. It looks nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to everybody goes on this far end over here. Not this far. See how big that was? On the far end. Even what's close to us here, right here, it'll go up to the top of the tire. That far side, they'll be under.
Alright guys, let's go through a roll call real fast. Josh, you got a copy?
I'm here.
A copy.
Copy.
Then Paul. Jamie, do you have a copy? Do you have a copy? I have a copy and I can't hear anything. No, but Jordan, do you have a copy?
Copy.
Mitch, do you have a copy?
Gotcha, that's there.
What's up, guys?
Radio check.
the fuck is this guy doing? Had the leader go past me. Here comes third and fourth place right now. Cut my recording now.
Maxxis tires.
Daytona International Speedway is synonymous with four-wheeled action, but getting airborne on four wheels, well, that's a new experience. Come check it out on Tuesday afternoon with the second annual Fly Racing ATV Supercross right here at Daytona International Speedway. Come watch high flyers like defending series champion Chad Wienen, challengers like Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, and Jeff Rastrelli, and last year's Supercross winner John Natale this Tuesday right here at Daytona.
CST Tires.
I've been with WYATT for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
Alright, well, welcome back to GNCC Live here at the Wild Boar race here in Palatka, Florida. As you can see, we're showing you one of the many mud holes here. These swamp lanes up here in the flat land here in Florida. These guys, and like I say, some of the tracks like that, it's got the swamps, then you got your fields, and believe it or not, that was a flat field.
It absolutely was. And what happens with the quads, Fred, you're going to get to two wagon ruts is what's going to happen. And even when you're not in a corner or not even in these sand whoops, those things are going to belly out. They're going to high center. The skid plates are going to drag. The rotors are going to drag. And it's just a matter of the horsepower throwing those ruts clean every couple laps. And man, oh man, even your straight sections are going to be tough with those kind of ruts.
Yeah, once that grass gets knocked off the top, that grass has got a nice solid base, and once that gets knocked off, it just digs down in that sand. And another thing with these grasses too, it's a little different than a full sand like in the woods, that some of that grass does not want to break up, and it gets like square edge curves. So some of them
closed here.
How the motor was built, and for a bike they don't even make anymore, he probably had to go to eBay or somewhere, Craigslist, and find some bikes.
Well, you know, he bought up a stock load of them. There's what I heard a few years back, and you know, he's probably got a truckload of parts, and you know, still a very popular machine amongst a lot of the riders. So he pulled out the notes. He set that thing up the way he used to run one, and you know what? According to the changes in him, his body and his riding style, well, then he'll fine-tune those adjustments. But I'm sure he feels like he's dealing with an old friend right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, and that's why I'm really interested to see how this next lap turns out, if he's catching time or losing time. But, you know, I would expect he's probably going to be catching, Matt. I think he's going to start, the wheels are going to start rolling, and he's going to say, oh, yeah, this is how the bike works. You know, I'm so used to how this thing's working that things are going to start rolling his way.
I have to agree with you right there. You know, with the mixed results over the past couple seasons, it's just a mental thing sometimes. No problem with any machine, no problem with any part of the program. It's just sometimes mental. And making this change, going back to a bike that he won 6, 7 titles on, you know, no matter what the model year of that machine, it's still capable of winning on any given day. And fine-tuning that setup after 2 years isn't going to be a big deal for Chris.
No, you know, sometimes I always say change is a good thing. Well, for him, you know, he thought the change was good. He did it and found out that that bike didn't suit his style. So he went back to the bike that he knows is a proven winner. I'm sure his program, he's done the same thing. I know he's been down here with Andrew DeLong and the rest of these guys, and they're riding miles and miles on their bikes, road bikes, and then they're out there on their quads training. So, you know, Chris BORICH has done his homework, and he's expecting for, you know, some good results here today. I think he got 3rd here last year on his, you know, on his brand new ride on the Yamaha. So I'm sure he's looking to do better than that this weekend, and we're going to find out here shortly.
Yeah, it won't take long. We're just about, let's see, a little better than 45 minutes in here, Fred. That means we're coming up on the halfway point now. There we get a better look at that.
I think
swamp.
that's Walker
That looks
Fowler
like
right
our
there.
leader coming through right there, headed toward us, Fred.
Yep, so there's Walker coming right now. We're going to be looking for Bryce Neal. He should be 2nd. And there he is. You know, I say that mud hole's still not getting deep yet, but it's only the 2nd time through. That thing's going to get deeper and deeper. There's no doubt about that. So right now we should be looking for Chris BORICH. Has Chris BORICH closed up any on this lap? You know, he was 27 seconds down that last lap. And here come some riders through right now. And yep, there's Chris on Old Yeller. And I think Adam McGill has gotten around him now, Matt. So it's Chris BORICH has lost a spot to Adam McGill. You know, they're close enough still, so he could just be following him around.
As they worked through that did look like McGill had made the move, was able to get around. And
there'd be Sneaky Snake, JARROD McClure coming in for 5th. And Cole Richardson right on his tail going through that mud section. So that section's right out in front of us right now, Rodney. So they got So Matt. So they got a little bit left to go before they even get to us. So a lot of things can happen. And on the screen here, I think we got one or two more shots when they hit that open field out there. We can get another eye on, you know, exactly how big Walker Fowler's lead is. We'll try to get some time on them.
They had this section taped off all morning. They didn't run the amateurs through it. They didn't run the youth through it. So what you're seeing is you're going to watch this thing turn nasty right in front of your very eyes. Nobody was out there this morning cutting lines through it. None of the classes this morning were diverting around it. The bottom line was they took a totally different path. So we're going to watch this swamp turn into a whole new animal over the next 2 laps, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know, and the good thing about it is the GNCC crew has done a great job. There's plenty of room for people to go. So it's not like we got a one-line little mud hole. If you want to go somewhere else, you can. So it's as far as getting a bottleneck or having a big people getting stuck there, nowhere around, that's not going to happen. So
I noticed, taking a look at the scroll across the bottom there, Wesley Wolf rounding out the top 10 now. Wesley making the move this year, stepping up a class. Now here he is running 10th overall, and an impressive performance down here, to say the least.
Yeah, you know, that's really good coming from the second row. So he's had to pass a lot of the XC1 guys, and actually he's picking off people as he goes, so that's building his confidence, and that's really actually helping him along. You know, anytime you pass somebody, you think you're moving forward, and it's really good for your psychologically.
One thing Wesley Wolf never short on, raw speed. Doesn't matter. I've watched this guy win at Supercross. I've watched this guy win at Motocross. I've watched him win at GNCC. The guy knows how to ride his quad anywhere, anytime, and speed has never been an issue for that guy.
You know, there's not many guys that can fill his shoes. You know, all this, he's good at everything he does on that quad. It doesn't matter.
Amazing.
Just throw him in there. He's going to do good for you.
And you know what? We had a little fun with that down at Loretta Lynn's. You know, Wesley won, I believe, 2 championships at Loretta's last year. And, you know, there were some close races in one of the motos, maybe a quad length apart. But, you know, I told him don't get too confident, and I challenged any one of them guys at Loretta's to come race him in the woods and see if it's a matter of a bike length at the end of the race.
Okay, there's Walker Fowler just went by, and there's BRYCEN NEAL, who was 10 seconds behind him. So it looks like Bryce has made up a little bit of time on Walker.
Yeah, it went from 27 seconds behind to, like you said, just about 10 seconds behind, so picking up some major time over the last lap.
Yeah, and right now we're waiting for Chris BORICH and Adam McGill to come through, and I've got the watch on them still, and we're up to Adam McGill is 37 seconds behind, and Chris BORICH is right on his tail in 38 seconds. So Walker Fowler's got 37, 38 seconds on the guys in 3rd and 4th, and he's got 10 seconds on BRYCEN NEAL.
Yeah, I tell you this much. When you take a look at the times right now, things have kind of settled into a pace now. Walker's riding where he's riding, but you know, BRYCEN NEAL has 2 objectives. Get away from BORICH and McGill and catch Fowler. So he wants to stay ahead of a couple guys, but he also wants to track down that leader. So kind of a predicament he's in right now.
Yeah, I think BRYCEN NEAL's in a good spot. I mean, if you can stay within 10 seconds of Walker Fowler and just kind of see him here and there and keep yourself motivated, know that, hey, this guy's got the #1 plate and he's not getting away from me, it's going to carry you a long way.
Yeah, always easier when you can see that guy in front of you, no doubt. Hey, I'm going to check out. I'm going to let Rodney step in here for a few minutes. Rodney has been a man possessed. He's been all over this property since daylight this morning, man. He's been working on everything from the starts to the sound to the cameras, and Rodney has been at it. We're going to let him sit down, take a quick break, and get you guys up to date, that's for sure, man.
I like how you put that, Megawatt. Taking a break. I'm going to sit down and start announcing to take a break. And rightfully so. With the gremlins that we've had for this first round of racing, it certainly has presented quite a bit of a challenge, I think, in some aspects. But the great thing about it is, for the racers, all of our problems are actually translating into no problems for those guys, man, because the racing has been spot on today. Track crew has had a great track. We've had, well, this is our 3rd great race. We started out with the youth this morning, 4th actually. We had the aces, the single seats, and the 10 o'clock race, and now this is race number 4. We'll have race number 5 coming up here with the UTVs a little later on, Fred Andrews, and I am just getting into the action, and last check that I knew, man, BRYCEN NEAL was doing well. I know we have Walker Fowler up front, and looking at the latest results right now after a lap or 2 of racing, it looks like we're still within that realm, man. Those guys are still up front, and a lot of the same key players are up front, so it looks like everybody's settled into an old school kind of pace, if you will.
Yeah, you know, there's definitely no short of action out there. You know, Walker Fowler jumped out to the early lead. Looks like he actually put some time on the rest of the crew, and BRYCEN NEAL's actually reeled him in a little bit. I think it was down to like 10 seconds at the last check. And Chris BORICH and Adam McGill have hooked up together, but they don't seem to be gaining any ground. They were 27, 28 seconds behind the leader still. So, you know, I think those two need to start to make a move right here. You know, they're coming around their 2nd lap right now, and there's Walker Fowler right now coming through some of the beautiful pine sections we got here off the grass field into a little bit of woods, and they are heading our way right now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Here we are nearly an hour into this, and we're just now about ready to wrap up that second lap. So that means that lap times might be somewhere, 32:25 for that first lap. And look at this. There's McGill. He's got BORICH all over his rear wheel. We're starting to see, well, it looks like McGill has gotten around Chris BORICH, because originally that was Chris BORICH's position. Now the Honda, man, he's letting her eat, as Adam McGill likes to say.
Yeah, these two have hooked up together, and maybe now all of a sudden, you know, Chris maybe didn't feel comfortable. He let Adam go by, and those two are going to try to work their way to the front and try to catch the leaders.
Well, Chris keeps looking back over his right shoulder there. He's looking back. I don't know whether he's looking to see who's coming behind him, whether he's trying to look at some pit crew folks or what the situation or scenario is right now. But it is Adam McGill pouring on the coals right now as he rolls toward the finish line here and the end of lap number 2. These guys still a couple minutes out, a few minutes out before I think we'll see them here at the finish line. There's the number 3 of JARROD McClure, it looks like, Fred, and looking at him, looks like he might have moved up a spot or two, or at least trying to close in on Cole Richardson. There's Richardson now back on the 733. So we've seen a couple of changes. McClure around Richardson, and McGill is around BORICH. So these guys are really pushing the envelope, it looks like, as we reach the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, you know, in a track like this, and these guys are going so fast, one little mistake, you know, and you can get by a guy. And I think with Adam McGill getting ahead of BORICH, those guys are going to try to roll to the front. But like I said earlier, you know, BRYCEN NEAL, he's putting in an awesome ride right now. If he can keep Walker Fowler in his sight for another lap or two, you know, this race is going to be over shortly.
I'm going to tell you something. This is going according to plan. I talked to him, last week, and I talked to him again this morning, and I'm pretty impressed, man. I said it then, and I'll say it now. He's very wise for a 20-year-old guy, but you got to realize who he is under mentorship. Last year he worked with Brock Booth, who was very instrumental in helping get Walker Fowler's program off the ground and helping elevate him into the racer that he is. And he did the same thing with BRYCEN NEAL last year, and now BRYCEN has switched over to the Coastal Racing Team, which is now under the direction of 7-time GNCC ATV champ, 1-time motorcycle champ, 8 times overall, and like 68-time winner Barry Hawk. So, I mean, this guy knows the formula that it takes to win. And it's funny, he was talking about those old school formulas of just basically putting himself in the position and not really pushing the envelope or even going for the lead until the last lap.
Yeah, Ronnie, I mean, back in the day, that's how we did it. We all raced real hard and close, but we weren't worried about... You got to keep yourself in position to win, and that's exactly what he is doing. You know, he's not taking any chances, keeping himself where he needs to be in the last lap. That's when you go for the win.
You rewind to a year ago, and that's basically how Walker Fowler did. Of course, he had to ride with a vengeance up through the pack in order to sneak up on Adam McGill. And, you know, right now McGill might be trying to hand him the same taste of the same medicine he got handed there last year. As you see, Adam is on a tear right now. Just to point out, at last check, between second and third place, there was nearly 30 seconds that separated those two. I'm not sure where we are right now in that deficit, but we will be finding out here soon when these guys come through the finish line, I think, Fred.
Well, Rodney, last check, I believe, they were 27, 28 seconds behind Walker Fowler, and BRYCEN NEAL was 10 seconds behind them. So they're going to be about 17, 18 seconds behind second place right now.
Wow, so this is really starting to tighten up just a little bit then, and things are getting interesting, and that's good news for Adam McGill, who's trying to ride from out of the shadows right now. He's got that number 2 plate on him, man, but all the attention has been focused on Chris BORICH and Walker Fowler. And here's the amazing thing. Chris BORICH hasn't even really been a factor in today's race. Again, you know, we're not seeing anything any different so far than what we saw a year ago, say.
No, you know, like I said earlier, with him switching to Old Yeller, you know, I expected him to be right there in the front. I expected him to be leading this race and showing these guys that, hey, this is what I needed to win. So he's actually, in my opinion, putting a lot of pressure on himself. You know, he switched back to a bike that he knows he was winning on, so we expect him to win.
No doubt. Here is our winner from last year. That is Walker Fowler, blazing saddles into the final stretch here at the finish line, I believe, and some chicanes working their way this way. We'll be seeing Fowler checking in here shortly, or... Oh, that's the 8-mile. Oh, Lord have mercy. We're only at the 8-mile marker now. I thought we were so much closer. So maybe the computer's timing and scoring is right. We're still 5 minutes away, according to that, before we'll see those guys at the finish line. That's pretty impressive. There goes the number 5 now, BRYCEN NEAL. Looks like that gap is starting to open up some, as you had mentioned now. probably 10, 12 seconds at least.
Yeah, it looks like he's opening it up to about 18, 19 seconds right now.
That is a lot. Man, Walker is out there. You know, last year he wasn't feeling so well. He came from behind. I think that he's got a point to prove, or feels like he's got a point to prove, and a statement to make in this first round of racing right now.
Yeah, Rodney, you know, this is all unofficial off my stopwatch here in my hand, but it looks to me like the first two guys have...
Oh, look at this. I'm sorry. Look, there is McGill, and there is Chris BORICH at the 8-mile marker, right on the rear wheels of Adam McGill. It looks like he is not relinquishing that fight for the number 3 spot. He wants to get back up there, it looks like, Fred. And here comes, that is McClure, and McClure is only just a handful of seconds behind now. Things are starting to tighten up and close up, it looks like, here near the halfway point.
Well, I hate to differ, but I think my watch said it was different. I actually think Walker Fowler and BRYCEN NEAL put another 10 seconds on those guys.
Oh, really? But what about McClure? Is he catching up to the third, fourth place?
I think McClure is catching those guys. So, I mean, you know, this is all off my stopwatch and going from photo to photo here, but I think Walker Fowler and BRYCEN NEAL have actually starting to pull a little bit of the lead on those guys.
That's what I was wondering.
Like you said, it's so exciting to see that Chris BORICH and Adam McGill, I mean, they're dicing out they want that podium spot, and they don't care how far ahead or behind they are, they're going to go for that podium spot.
Yeah, I mean, this is the new era of ATV racing that I've been heralding for the last year or so, and it's here, man. The new era is making its way in right now, and you're seeing it is a fight just to get on the podium by top guys like McGill and BORICH. But Neal's up there in second. I mean, the field is getting so deep right now, Fred. This is really getting me excited for what 2016 holds.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of names that are regulars on the podium now. You know, just not a couple guys, so it's anybody's race out there, and these guys are really fighting for it right now, and it's going to be interesting to see here when that white flag comes out who did their homework. You know, people are going to start dropping off.
You got a very good point.
It's getting rougher and rougher out there, even though it's actually better that this track's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because the track won't be as rough.
There is our leader checking in now at the finish line. Walker Fowler completing his second 12-mile lap. He is an hour and 3 minutes into this race now. The official time for Walker when he checked in looked like 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 28 seconds, 0.9. So say 1 hour and just about 4 seconds. But regardless, man, I mean, that's a pretty phenomenal ride there, almost an hour and 4 minutes, I should say. But still, Walker Fowler putting on the drive. We 21.5 second deficit at the end of lap number 1 between first and second place. And I haven't been looking. I've been trying to make sure the computer's updating. Have you seen Neal go by yet for second? There he is.
BRYCEN NEAL's gone by already.
Okay, there he is. It does have him scored in at 20.8 seconds behind Walker Fowler now. The computer's lagging a little bit, along with all the other problems we got today. But nonetheless, so there went Adam McGill and Chris BORICH in that battle for the number 3 spot. And BORICH is back on top of that one. He had 0.9 of a second lead. So he made that pass right there in the last little bit. Here comes McClure in now. We'll see where he is in that gap. Now, the gap between the second and third place position, 33 seconds now, Fred, so that is starting to open up quite a bit.
And I'm wondering if anybody gassed on that lap, Rodney. You know, so they got at least gas one time. And I was thinking that BRYCEN NEAL was a little bit closer to Walker Fowler, whether he gassed or maybe he just had a little mistake, or maybe Fowler's just putting the hammer down a little more.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walker Fowler right now, I think, has got a point to prove. Anybody that listened to any of the pre-race season interviews that I did with Walker and with Chris will know that maybe these guys might have a little bit of a bone to pick with each other. And the whole top 10 did pit. We just got the report in, so everybody went to a pit stop, so that's good news. But here's the thing. In an interview with Chris BORICH I did about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks, he was talking about last season and obviously how, you know, he didn't find the fit with the Yamaha, but he said that he was working harder last year than he has ever worked, and he worked harder this off season than he has ever worked. And he's made the statement, I feel like, the way he said it was, I feel like that the pace slowed down without me up there to push it. And, you know, a lot of people scratch their head and say, well, that might be a possibility. Then I talked to Walker Fowler a few days later, and Walker says, well, it's kind of hard to tell whether the pace is slowed down when you're running 2 minutes behind. So, I mean, that was, you know, Walker was kind of kidding, but he kind of made his jab in on the guy. So I think that Walker might right now be trying to prove a point to Chris that, no, buddy, the pace didn't slow down. Everybody just kind of evened out, and we all got real fast.
Yeah, I would have to say, man, from last year, there were so many guys going fast. I don't see the pace really slowing down much either last year.
I don't either, but, you know, I don't know. I guess the true testimony and the testament to that is this season, and whether or not, and I'm not even going to hinge it on this race. I know a lot of folks are saying, man, Chris is having a time right now, and Walker's out there just walking the dog, and, you know, that might be some indications of what the rest of the season holds, but it may not either. I mean, that's what's wild about this first round. Sometimes it gives you a good indicator. Other times it's wide open still after this round.
Yeah, Ron, just like we said earlier, it's about bike setup and who's actually able to come down here in Florida and spend a lot of time and get their bike really set up good. But most guys just try to get through this race. When you go to Georgia, everybody knows the dirt, everybody has a good setup, and that's really when the racing starts.
Yeah,
and that's when you can say, okay, oh yeah, he's really come on point on this or that. So
yeah, and a lot of that is how well they bounce back from this weekend, regardless of how bad or good they do here at Florida. It's what they do and bounce back in Georgia that I think is the true tell of the tape, just like you're saying.
Yeah, you know, you could come down here and spend everything you got and just totally wreck your body, and you don't have enough time to even heal up for the next race. Or you're pretty good shape, and you get up there, you can go an hour strong, and then you're tired. So having these two races back to back like we do, let alone with this being one of the roughest ones we have all year long, is really hard on you. So some guys just kind of get through it, like we said, and then start really racing in Georgia.
And that would make a lot of sense why a lot of guys also train for this particular round, because they know if they can be fit for Florida, then they can be fit for about anything that the GNCC throws at them.
Oh yeah, you come down here and you train for a month or two. One, your bike's going to be totally wore out. Two, you're going to be tough as nails.
There you go.
And once you're in shape, you can carry that along the rest of the year.
And you know, I'm seeing a lot of that in shape. I mean, the work that went in this offseason. I mean, you look at Chris Boarch, looks chiseled. You look at Walker Fowler, looks chiseled. You look at Adam McGill, looks chiseled. You look at Jared McClure, looks chiseled. You look at BRYCEN NEAL, he looks chiseled, man. I mean, these guys are perfect forms of just amazing athletes. There's no doubt about it. And what this season holds for us is certainly unbelievable, I think, whenever we look at the big picture.
Yeah, you know, they are all great riders, and they know to take it to the next level. If they get a little bit tired, the guy right behind them, if he's not tired, he's going to get around them. So they all know that they've got to be physically fit. They got to come in after the race knowing that they gave everything they had, and whatever they got, you know, they'll be happy with. But they can't afford to get tired anymore. These guys all want to win really bad.
They do. Chris Boarch, probably the one that wants to win the most, as he put the reset switch and he's running back in third place right now, trying to play catch-up. Will he be able to do it? Stick around. We'll find out when GNCC Live continues.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Daytona International Speedway is synonymous with four-wheeled action, but getting airborne on four wheels, well, that's a new experience. Come check it out on Tuesday afternoon with the second annual Fly Racing ATV Supercross right here at Daytona International Speedway. Come watch high flyers like defending series champion Chad Wienen, challengers like Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, and Jeff Rastrelli, and last year's Supercross winner John Natale this Tuesday right here at Daytona.
And welcome back to GNCC Live here from Palatka, Florida. Round one, the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews, Megawatt, Matt Watson out and about. And, of course, we've got Walker Fowler leading BRYCEN, NEAL. Adam McGill is the number 3 ride, and Chris Borch in 4th with Jared McClure in 5th. Cole Richardson 6th, Landon Wolf in 7th. It is 8th place. Greg Covert, the number 21. He is your XC2 Pro-Am class leader right now. He's running 8th overall. Johnny Gallagher, beginning his 22nd year of XC1 Pro Racing, is in 9th place. And Josh Merritt out of Akron, Ohio, rounds out the top 10. Wesley Wolf and Cody Collier running 11th and 12th. And here's something pretty interesting between those two. Obviously, those are two of the guys that a lot of folks are going to be keeping eyes on this year. And I think a great surprise this year, maybe not so much for some, but Greg Covert, who was also a top College A rider last year and one of Wesley Wolf's top competitors in that class. So to see Wesley and Greg up front and to see Cody Collier up front, we got another barn-burning 2016 season as far as XC2 Pro-Am racing is concerned. You also got Marty Christopherson you got to throw in there, and a few other guys that are going to be some major players. Randy Hamilton on that JMR machine. And right now, as far as top amateur riders are concerned, in 13th place overall, Hunter Hart in the College A class, the 318 out of Newfield, New York, a former youth champion, and also won several, and I think some schoolboy championships in over a couple of years, but now on to the big bikes and the big classes, and man, he is certainly staking his claims here in the big bikes in 2016.
Yeah, you know, with Cole Richardson moving out of the XC2 class, now that class is wide open again. You know, these guys all were kind of in his shadow all year last year. Well, now it's their class, it's their championship to win, so all these guys have really worked hard over the winter, I'm sure, and they know they can be a champion this year, and that class is stacked.
It most certainly is. You got Hunter Hart there in 13th place overall, College A leader. He didn't even have a second, a 3/4 of a second lead over Devin Feehan. Was second in that class. He's 14th overall. Austin Abney's 3rd in the class, running about 3.5 seconds behind those two. So that's a pretty heated battle in the College A class. Marty Christopherson is 16th place overall. 17th is Randy Hamilton. Matthew Lindell is 18th aboard the 303. Tucker Wyatt, new XC1 Pro rider here this year, is 19th overall. And William Duck Lloyd from the ATV motocross scene. We've seen him dabbling in the GNCC. He raced the last 4 last year. He is totally committed to GNCC here in 2016, and he is riding in the XC2 Pro-Am class, and he's ready to get his feet wet and ready to make things happen out here.
Yeah, right. Once everybody comes in and tries one of these GNCCs, they'll really enjoy it, and, you know, we've got more and more people coming in to this sport. You know, it only takes one time to get you hooked.
That's for sure. It's a crossover thing, I think. Some of them do it for training, while others kind of do it because they just love both sports. I know Luke Shepard, who is now a Junior A rider. I've seen him go across the screen there a few moments ago. He and his new wife, Megan Manshak Shepard, who they got married over the winter. Megan is the defending WMX champion. She is also vying to be one of the top WXC girls, so she does both series, and both full-time and dedicated to ATV racing. That's awesome that you got a family, a husband and wife that are both like that. And you know, Luke even admitted, he goes on the woods track, I'm faster than her right now. He said on the moto track, I'm only about a second faster than her right now. He says, but I can guarantee you by the end of the season she'll be faster than me. So he's got a lot of hope for his wife out there on the 4 wheels, that's for sure.
Wow, that's cool. You know, the good thing about that is they can enjoy something together. Besides, you know, being married, they hey, let's go ride. And they go ride, and they can push each other and make each other better. I mean, that's that's not the normal.
That's like Jeff and Tracy Pickens, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, an hour and now what we look in 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. Let's let the scores update here, and we'll get you the official. An hour and 16 minutes now into this race. Fowler again continuing to lead NEAL, McGill in third, BORICH in fourth, McClure in fifth. We should be getting a chance to see some of these guys check in here shortly, and I don't know how much longer before these guys will be in sight, but I know that. So I know that we had a chance to catch up with a couple of these guys earlier this morning, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are home right now wondering about what these guys were thinking heading into this championship season, and I know that we'll get to some of those interviews. Walker Fowler probably on the tongue of a lot of folks, just winning that championship, and with that big target on his back, you know a lot of folks are wondering what the champ's thinking. When we had a chance to catch up with him.
Just trying to get through it. These first 2 rounds, they sneak up on you, and then once we go home, we kind of get a 3-week break before Steel Creek, and then you know, everything kind of falls into an order. But usually finding a rhythm the first couple races is really hard, and that's why, like Adam McGill last year, he got out and had a couple good races early when I was struggling to kind of find my rhythm, and that's why the first couple races are so important. You got to get out there and you got to get moving now. So the goal is to not fall behind early, try to get, you know, some good points out of Florida, maybe a win, and keep on chugging along.
Wow, Fred, did you notice the look on Walker Fowler? I mean, the neck muscles. We were talking about putting in the work in the offseason. Now, I know he was a trim, fit individual last year, but does he not look a little bulkier this year?
Yeah, I would say for sure, Ron. It looks like he's gotten bigger. You know, he's probably going back to the old saying. They say once you're number one, it's hard to keep it, and he's doing everything he can to do that, you know.
Well, he even made the statement he does not want to be the champion that doesn't win multiple times. You know, he wants to. He says, I got to at least win back-to-back before, you know, he said, otherwise, he goes, I'll feel like it's a fluke and what everybody's saying. You know, and that was not a fluke. It wasn't.
There's no way. There's no way it's a fluke when you've got consistent finishes all year long, and the years before that, he's always been there. I mean, but there only can be one champion.
Yeah,
you know.
But he's got people in his ear, you know, saying, "Well, if this would have happened, if that would have happened." The great thing about it is, we're off on the page here today, where Walker's proving. It looks like it doesn't matter to him what last year and what Chris was riding last year or what Chris is riding this year. He's doing exactly what he set out to do many years ago, and that was to achieve a championship.
Yeah, that's what a true champion does. You know, he's worried about himself. He's worried about this year. Last year's last year, and he rode this, he rode that. It doesn't matter. Walker Fowler's worried about Walker Fowler. He's got his bike dialed in. He knows he's giving it 100%. And if he can come out and be champion again, so be it. But he's not going to let anything distract him, or he's not going to do anything he shouldn't. He's doing everything and more to be a champion again.
Well, I tell you, the way these guys all seem to have the program figured out, it is certainly making it tougher and tougher to not only be a part of the upper echelon of the class, but to maintain that status.
Yeah, you know, and I talked to Barry Hawk earlier this morning about how it was back in the day when him and I both started, and how things have changed so much with bike setups. And we were talking about how we used to put our decals on our bikes individually, and now we've got sticker kits, and it's just, it's crazy how everything's changed and how the sport has grown and how much more coverage we get now thanks to RacerTV and everything, and we didn't have it when Barry and I were really on our game and winning races, but
I would love to see that.
The sport's just getting bigger and bigger.
I wish I could see you guys go back at it. Hey guys, just want to let you know that we got a set of dozer keys and truck keys lost. If you happen to have found those, please take them to rider registration as soon as possible. And we're looking now.
I think maybe they'll give the truck keys back, but that dozer somebody might want to play on.
We might find a whole new track for the bike track guys tomorrow. You never know.
I hope you didn't make an enemy with that guy, because you could be driving over your car right now.
Glad he doesn't know what I'm driving. But Walker Fowler, BRYCEN, NEAL, Adam McGill, Chris BORICH, Jared McClure, Cole Richardson is 6th, Landon Wolf in 7th, Greg Covert is. And there is Walker Fowler at the 5-mile marker and making his way in. Let's put a clock on him, Fred. Oh, look at that, almost getting stuck in that mud hole. But, man, you seen him put that extra weight that he gained over the winter to use right there.
Yeah, you can see, Rodney, that mud hole's starting to get a little bit chewed up now. That guy went wide, and Walker knows it. BRYCEN NEAL, he's coming. So he made a pass there on that inside line, and you know, they're 10 seconds apart still. So Brycen Neal's doing what he needs to do to keep himself in position for that win. And this guy here is like, oh, help, help, I need help.
That right there is a helpless, sinking feeling. I can remember after the Hurricane GNCC back in '03 when actually, Fred, I think that I might have even saw you out there on that on that day out there on that trail that I got stuck, and I was out there by myself for hours, and luckily this guy's got some mud fleas to help him out.
You know, Rodney, and I've got the clock on him right now. Brycen Neal and Walker Fowler. We're 45 seconds into it, and I don't see any sign of Adam McGill or Chris Boarich yet.
Wow, that's crazy right now. So I don't guess Walker Fowler slowed down.
No, I mean, I could have missed him, but I don't think we did watching that guy that was stuck in the mud, because those guys would have had to have gone by him too. But I'm over a minute and 2, minute and 3 right now, and
there's Neal.
There's Adam McGill.
Oh,
right
McGill.
there. So
yes.
Adam McGill's in 3rd place, and he's a good minute and 10 seconds behind him and Chris Boarich. So Walker Fowler and Brycen Neal, those guys are for real. They're getting out there, and they're making that statement coming up to a white flag lap, Rodney.
No doubt about that. This is going to be exciting to see how this goes. Everything's going according to plan, and I'll tell you right now, Brycen said as much as he'd like to win, that's not his goal. To get
and there's
through
JARROD
this.
McClure. Sorry not to cut you off. He's still 15 seconds behind Chris Boarich and Adam McGill, so he's not losing any time. He's not getting any time. He's holding steady also.
Well, the snake is slithering his way through the Florida woods right now. Don't count him out. Remember, he's one of those late race chargers. That's been kind of his tradition the last couple of years, and that's when we really get to see. I think there's been a couple races he starts out front and stays up there, but I think more times than not we've seen him work his way into position to get on that podium, and he's not far out of it right now. If he can catch those guys, and with lap traffic starting to come into play, like you said, it is a longer track. That helps out on track conditions. It also should help out on lapped riders, but we see right there how quickly at that mud hole things can change and turn around for you if you happen to be following the wrong person at the wrong particular time.
Yeah, you know, like I say, he's keeping himself in position for a podium also. He's only 15 seconds back from Adam McGill and Chris Boarich. You know, Brycen Neal, he was 10 or 15 seconds back from Walker Fowler, so they're all keeping themselves right where they need to be. In this last lap, Rodney, just like you said, that's when everything seems like it happens. You get a little bit more nervous that something's going on. The lappers are there, the mud holes are there. You start thinking a little bit more than probably what you need to be, and you never know what's going to happen out there. So we're waiting for these guys to come around again to get another split time on them. But it looks like things are starting to separate out a little bit, different than what I expected to be. But we've got racing all over, and it's all good racing.
Well, I can tell you, if I would have picked, if you would have said, all right, Rodney, what do you think the top 5 is going to be running like at certain points of the race? That's so hard to say, but I can't say that I would have picked it like this. I really don't know how I would have gone, but if you look at it, it really makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's Fowler at the 6-mile marker now as he crosses one of those roads. We're getting the clock on him again, and Fowler now will disappear into the woods on board that number 1. We'll be watching for Brycen Neal in that number 2 spot. We missed him, I think. Ooh, look at that.
I'd have to say he's closer to 5 or 6 seconds right now, Rodney.
Oh, my, folks. We are about to see a race start to heat up. Remember what I said? He said he wasn't going to start pushing it until about right now, and right now is when he's pushing it, and he's closed that gap up to well within about 7 seconds at least. Between he and Walker Fowler. That is cutting that gap nearly, well, more than in half, I think, from what we saw a little bit ago.
Yeah, sure did, Rodney. And right now, when he'd be coming through Pro Row, I'm sure Barry Hawk and the Coastal crew will be saying, it's time to drop the hammer, buddy.
And if he hasn't dropped the hammer yet, and if Walker has, what's that mean for the pace that these guys are going to be racing on the white flag lap?
Well, I'm sure Mark Nautman's going to be saying the same thing. He's going to say, hey, if you got anything left in the old kettle there, boy, you better start pouring it on because Brycen's coming, and you know Walker's going to buckle down and Walker's going to give it a little bit more, and we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to have a heck of a last lap here.
We most certainly are, and the battle wages on between McGill and Boarich as they make their way past the 6-mile marker and that lap traffic I was talking about that could be the saving grace for JARROD McClure to get his hat in the ring of this battle. Now let's see what that lap traffic has done for him as they disappear out of sight. We were looking at what, about a little less time than what we'd seen the last time with McClure. He was he's 23 seconds behind before, and right now he is only about 15 seconds behind, so maybe 17 seconds behind, but regardless, he is closing up that gap, Fred, and what I kind of thought might happen, some lapped riders are starting to play a little bit of a role in that. for JARROD and playing it in his favor, because it slowed those guys down for just a moment, and that moment is whenever JARROD was able to capitalize.
Yeah, you know, like you said, all last season he kind of just hung out, and all of a sudden he just slithered his way right onto the podium spot, and we talked about it many times. But, you know, BRYCEN, NEAL, and Walker Fowler, those guys are still holding tough. You know, Adam McGill and Chris BORICH at the split I just got, we're still a minute and 7 seconds back from them, so they're not getting any time. If those two are going to make something happen, they better hurry up and get going here, because by the time the white flag comes around, a minute and 8 seconds, that's a lot to try to catch up on the leaders.
Oh man, that's seems like a nearly impossible world to
the
travel.
Leaders, they're not going to be slowing down. They're going to be hooked up together, and they may even go faster.
Yeah, the only saving grace at this, but yeah, I think they are going to go faster. I'm telling you, BRYCEN's been holding back. And I don't know, I have to think that Walker, he looks pretty fit and trim too. I have to think that Walker's got a little bit left in the tank too. When these guys get together, we may be in store for, I can't even think of a word to describe what we're looking at this year in possibilities. I mean, here's Walker Fowler at the 8-mile marker, as we'll get some split times on him once again. There goes Walker, just smooth as silk. He looks over his shoulder. I think he knows, he feels, he hears BRYCEN NEAL. It's coming. Look at him. He's looking.
Yeah, he must have a spotter out there. Like you said, he can probably just feel a hair standing up on the back of his neck knowing, oh, shoot, somebody's coming.
There is NEAL right there. BRYCEN looking back as well. Actually, he's looking at some lap riders, make sure he's not in his way. You know, BRYCEN still doesn't appear to be pushing it right now.
No, he still looks to be good. You know, he's up on the bike like he needs to be, and he's just moving forward. You know, when you're open fields like that, Rodney, it's nice that you can just take a quick look and see if somebody's there, you know, whether you need to or not. But he's just taking a good look to see if he sees anybody. And I'm sure his pit crew's saying, hey, let's look forward. You know, the race is ahead of us, and let's get that guy ahead of you.
That's what they're doing. They are racing forward, no doubt about that, and looking forward. And BRYCEN NEAL, just, I'm telling you, he reminds me of those guys. You remember how we always talk about, that guy looks so smooth, he almost doesn't look like he's pushing it. He looks, and well, Caleb Russell's one of those on the two-wheel side of things. You know, watching him go, he's so smooth, you can't really, I mean, you do tell how fast he's going, but I think that maybe BRYCEN might be in the same situation. He's just going that fast, and he's just that smooth, man, that fluid out there on that machine.
Yeah, you're right. You know, if you watch Caleb out there on the track, you swear he's just cruising. And you see his lap, and you go, wow.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you need to be. That helps you save a whole bunch of energy and time. And right now we've got Adam McGill and Chris BORICH coming around. They're both looking over their shoulders riding. They're 1:25 back, so they've actually lost 5 or 6 more seconds.
Adam's saying something to Chris. I think he wants Chris to push him. I think he's trying to taunt Chris right now, get him up there so they can push each other a little closer up to the pack.
Or Adam's saying, hey, I can't make this happen. You better go ahead and let's see if you can make it happen.
That might be the case.
Because they've been together for a while now, and they're not gaining any time.
And you bring up a very important fact there. That's pretty cool. Sometimes guys will hook up like that, Fred, and one guy might have a little better pace than the other, and that's exactly what happens. You go, I'll hook up with you, and we'll see what we can do then, right?
And actually, I've actually done it with guys where I was better in a section, and they would let me go, and I would go, and they would follow behind me. Then I would come to a different spot I knew I wasn't as good, and I would let them by, and they would, you know, they would pull me. So sometimes you can work together with another rider.
There's McClure making his way through this wooded section out near the 8-mile marker now, and headed to the 9-mile marker is Walker Fowler, as he'll be heading through the pits. Now, whether or not he'll have a pit stop, I highly doubt it. There's Danny, his dad, right there. So I don't think that there's a lot going on in the pits.
No, I don't. And it looks like his goggles are clean. They've got plenty of fuel in there. About the only thing they're going to do is tell him to keep the hammer down, because you got 1 lap to go. His dad's got a little water drink there, maybe there for him. But at this point, it's all on Walker's shoulder right now.
Lap traffic coming through is not going to affect Walker with, well, it could. It could.
Yeah, you know, that little tight section right there, it takes one slow guy to hold everybody up.
It does.
But,
and that
could, hopefully that doesn't happen.
That could bring Walker Fowler and BRYCEN NEAL to a nose to grab bar type situation. And man, if they come out of the woods looking like that, I would just about fall out of this chair, I think, right now. And I know I would jump out of this chair. Here comes RacerTV crew rider right there. That is our NBC Sports RacerTV cameraman trying to get his next position and shot. A lot of those guys former GNCC racers themselves.
Yep, here he comes. So his dad's got a water drink out there, and Walker takes a little quick sip. You know, nothing better than getting some cold fluid in you, too. You know, sometimes your camelback gets warm because it's on your back, so a nice cool drink is always good.
So Fowler gets the drink of water, and the gap is opening back up now between he and Brycen Neal. It looks like maybe Neal might have, that's a 7-second gap now, and as fluid as he was, maybe he has slowed down.
Or like you said, he could have caught a slower guy. It doesn't look like he's having any kind of trouble.
Yeah, so we go from about 7 seconds back to a 20-second gap. There's something there. We've seen this, I think, the last 2 laps, Fred. It looks like Brycen is catching up to Walker, and then that section from the 8 to the finish line is where we see the gap. And now we see it was actually that mile stretch between the 8-mile marker and the 9-mile marker, which is here near the pits.
Yeah, it looks like, Walker might be a little bit faster in that section. He could have some, a little bit better lines, or, Brycen Neal could have caught a slower guy. Anything can happen in GNCC racing, and that's why it's so exciting, Rodney. You never know.
That's it, and the variables keep changing lap after lap, and it's never over, really, truly, never over until a rider crosses the finish line. I've seen riders break down before they got to the finish line on more than one occasion.
And I think I've gotten past before I got to the finish line and leading before, too. So sometimes you think it's over, and it's not.
Where
over,
is
like
Neal?
you said.
Has he not come through yet? Have I missed him?
Yeah, Brycen Neal came
he
through.
did
Right
come
now
through.
we're waiting on Adam McGill
Okay.
and Chris BORICH.
I look away for just there. BORICH is going for the lead now here.
Well, it seems to me it looks like Adam McGill might be a little bit tuckered out there. He kind of came out of there and saw that drink and said, "Oh, thank you," and slowed up way too much. And Chris BORICH said, "Hey, I'm going on by. I wanted this 3rd place position."
Yeah, he just shook his head. You can see there's some frustration right now in Chris BORICH, but ultimately Chris BORICH is doing what he needs to do.
And there comes old Sneaky Snake. Looks like he might be getting a little bit closer. He's stopping for a drink also.
He said that he was worried about the temperatures down here this year because he knew that he being up in the Pennsylvania all winter, that he wasn't going to be used to this Florida sunshine and heat. He was hoping for temperatures in the 60s or 70s. So regardless, he knew it was going to be rough and it was going to wear him out. But he's still holding steady out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, down here you got to worry about the heat and the track. So you got 2 things going against you. It definitely gets super rough down here, and the heat really gets to you. Even though it's really not that hot today, the track, it's always rough,
That's
no matter
great.
what.
Yeah, that one right there. This track right here will certainly zap you. There's no doubt. He'll take the best of out of some men and the rest out of all the rest. That's all I can say, because just riding this thing around, working the track pre-race and post-race, it's rather tiring just working on the track crew for these guys.
That is sure.
BORICH is out front here near the 11-mile marker now, in the number 3 spot of the battle between him and Adam McGill. We're watching on screen on RacerTV.com right now, Fred, and it honestly is looking like Chris is turning it up. This is what we're used to seeing. The white flag comes out, and then Chris BORICH, we talked about that all last year. We've talked about it in years past. Now we'll see what kind of efforts he can put. Plus a minute. I don't think he's going to make that up, but what he might be able to do is redeem a little confidence after this round of racing, especially if he looks at the last laps and sees that he was gaining and making some gains, and that's always a positive as well. So right today, it looks like Chris BORICH is not going to get another season opener, and this will be 2 in a row that I can tell you that Chris BORICH won't be taking home here, but what he is taking, if things don't miraculously change for him, Fred, is a whole new fire to Georgia.
Yeah, if today isn't Chris's day, if he can put in a good lap this last lap, like you said, that'll be building, that'll give him some confidence that he's back on track for the rest of the year.
Well, here we go, rolling toward the finish line right now. According to timing and scoring, we should be expecting to see our leaders do it.
Walker Fowler has already come through.
Yeah, Walker Fowler is through. He's got the white flag, 3 laps down.
19 seconds.
31 minutes, 27 seconds. He slowed his lap time down there on that lap, and it looks like that possibly Brycen Neal may have stayed steady or slowed his down also. 31:29, so he lost a couple of seconds there. So 22.4. That's just amazing. You see him at 7. Like I said, there's something there between that 8-mile marker and the finish line that separates Walker and Brycen Neal out there. So
yeah,
now,
it would be nice to see, too, when we get back to that mud hole, Rodney, if Brycen is caught up in it, because this could be Brycen's part of the track. This right off the beginning, right after the finish line here.
And this could be the time that he really starts to pick up that pace. Again, when we saw him coming through, he just looked so fluid and not like he was pushing the envelope any whatsoever. 33 seconds is what we were looking at last time around between second and third place position. We're at a minute and now 20 seconds. Have we seen the third?
Still no Chris Boarich.
Still have not seen. So I think the theory that things slowed down, if it was true for the case for last year, Walker Fowler picked things back up here in 2016. And there is Chris Boarich now making his way in. And that is for the number 3 position. Official timing and scoring deficit between the second and third place position. We'll get that here soon. There it is. A minute 17 seconds. He turned a 32:12. And wow, that's about a 40-second slower lap time than NEAL, and almost 50 seconds or so slower than Walker Fowler. But regardless, Chris Boarich has one more lap to go to pick the pace back up and try to at least salvage some confidence that we're talking about. There's McGill. We'll see him in 4th place. He was 12 seconds behind Chris Boarich now. Jared McClure just 32 seconds behind him. So things are tightening up now, like we said, for that 3rd place position, or at least now with Adam McGill for 4th. Jared seems to be feeling some things, but something like you said, I think you pointed it out. I think that maybe Adam, either something happened or he might have just hit a little bit of a wall there and timed to rest for just a moment before he really wicks it up.
Yeah, you get your last lap going right now. Maybe he's just taking a little bit of breather, and he's going to, give whatever he's got left this last lap, because, he's worked hard all day long. Take a little breather, make sure you finish strong.
Well, I'll tell you, again, it's Fowler, NEAL, Boarich, McGill, McClure. Those are your top 5. Those are the only 5 in with 3 laps complete so far, and we'll be back to check in with the rest of them after this.
Maxxis Tires.
Daytona International Speedway is synonymous with four-wheeled action, but getting airborne on 4 wheels, well, that's a new experience. Come check it out on Tuesday afternoon with the 2nd annual Fly Racing ATV Supercross right here at Daytona International Speedway. Come watch high flyers like defending series champion Chad Wienen, challengers like Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, and Jeff Rastrelli, and last year's Supercross winner John Natale this Tuesday right here at Daytona.
CST Tires.
I've been with WYATT for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
I'm just a lost soul that's made of paper, but your touch can color the white and bring back beauty into my life.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Round 1 of the 2016 AMSOIL GNCC Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. Rodney Tomlin, Fred Andrews, Megawatt, Matt Watson, Walker Fowler, your defending champion, making a statement here in round 1 with Brycen NEAL rolling in the number 2 spot about 20 seconds back, and Chris Boarich about a minute 20 off pace of the 2nd place position rider. And you do the math right there, and you're pushing close to 2 minutes behind Walker Fowler. It's Chris Boarich right now, so that's going to add fuel to the debaters in the off week here, or in this coming week in between the round 1 and 2 as we head to Georgia, and it's going to fuel a lot of fires of those that have been debating that Fowler and Boarich issue. But I tell you, a lot of other names I think are going to be being used and thrown around a lot. I think a lot of folks are going to be pretty impressed with what young BRYCEN NEAL was able to achieve today. So far, he is spot on, and only person that's really given Walker any bit of competition at this point since basically the drop of the green flag, man. I mean, Walker got the whole shot, if I remember correctly, and had Adam McGill right on his rear wheel, and they were battling right at the early go. But, man, Walker basically he's got a hold of him, and he ain't want to let go.
No, Walker's got this from the very beginning. He's had a good lead for a while. You know, BRYCEN NEAL caught up to him that last lap within 7 seconds, but, you know, was Walker Fowler just taking a little bit of a breather? You know, that's something we didn't think into it. We're not taking anything away from BRYCEN NEAL at all because he's riding really good. You know, he did a great job last year, and I expected him to be up there today, and he's definitely keeping himself where he needs to be to, you know, get that win. If Walker messes up, or, you know, you got to keep yourself in the right position to pounce if something happens. And, you know, those guys have actually put some time on, Chris BORICH and Adam McGill. They're still slowly but surely chugging away and putting more time on them, which is pretty impressive for, you know, two guys that are used to being up front and having two other guys actually putting a little bit of time on them.
Well, the journey began about a decade ago for Walker Fowler in his bid for an ATV national championship in the XC1 Pro Class. He did it starting out in the youth classes, won the inaugural ATV youth race, won the inaugural championship, and has basically spotted his name throughout history in the ATV ranks since those days, and made his way to, well, the ultimate goal, the one that he set for himself so many years ago. And we'll take this time right now to reflect back. Last year was an amazing year for Walker Fowler, and you know, while he leads this race here today, we not only get a chance to look forward, but we also get a chance to look back.
is Walker Fowler for the first time is your Grand National Cross Country XC1 Pro Class champion.
Wow, Fred Andrews, watching that video, man, I mean, that tells the tale right there, man. I mean, that shows you how long Walker Fowler has been at this. The smiles of a little kid that just dreamed big, you know what I mean? And you know what's really cool? I saw Corey Buttrick, who is back on the XC1 side of things and the two-wheel side of things, and they used to race against each other in the youth classes on two wheels, and Walker obviously chose the four-wheel path. And to see those two kids together at such a young age and where they both have been able to travel in their efforts of GNCC racing, the roads that this championship has taken them is amazing.
Yeah, Ronnie, it's funny, you know, I forgot that really Walker was that little back then, you know, because right now we think of Walker Fowler from the XC2 class to where he is now. We forget that he started out on a little quad, and like you said, he rode the bike and the quad. It was really good on both, but he kind of had to make a decision on which one he was better at, and it definitely, he picked the quad, and it's really working out good, and I believe it's definitely the right choice for him.
You know what the neat thing about that is? I think that Walker, you know, he was working through the AmPro Yamaha program with Randy Hawkins through that youth program back then, and it came to that point where he had to make that choice. And what I think is really neat now is that he was able to bring that program back to Randy Hawkins and work under that tent and everything again, but now doing it under the four wheels. That Infab AmPro Yamaha team they got going on over there, really rising to the occasion for the efforts to get that championship, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think Walker Fowler's definitely got a good program with Randy and the AmPro Yamaha team, and he's on a good bike, and you know, everything works out good. Now, right now, Walker Fowler has to worry about riding his four-wheeler. He doesn't have to worry about setting up all his deals and doing all that stuff. Randy takes care of all that for him, so it makes life a lot easier on a rider. A rider just wants to ride a bike. He doesn't want to deal with all the sponsors and getting this and getting that. He just wants to be able to go racing, and with AmPro Yamaha team, that's what he's doing. And as you can see, it's working for him. You know, he's really got a great hole shot today. He's out there in the lead right now, and it looks like he's making a real statement today that, you know, he's for real, and I think he's trying to win by at least 2 minutes. Just to say, hey, what about that 2 minute?
Exactly. We'll see how much that pace slow down, buddy. Yeah. Hey, we got Facebook /GNCC Racing. If you want to follow us on social media, you can also check us out on Instagram at @GNCC_racing, and Twitter is @GNCC Racing. Use the official hashtags, #GNCC and #GNCC Live, and we will trend together here at Bike Week.
You know, Ryder, we're looking here at this mud hole right now, and I happen to see Mark Notman and Walker Fowler's dad there just in case he needs help. You know, this is probably coming up here in a little bit, but they're at this mud hole. You know, Walker might not need it, but, you know, you can never have enough crew members, enough team out there, and those guys are there to help if needed. And, you know, just a little encouragement. I know when I raced, every time I saw somebody I knew or a pit crew guy rooting me on, man, it just gives you that extra little boost of energy that people care about you, and you just want to keep on going because you want to do good for your friends and for your family and show them, you know, you've been working hard to make them proud of you.
Yes, you most certainly do. And if nothing else, there's a lot of personal satisfaction and gratification in that too, I think, Fred.
Yeah, you know, like right now, you know, Mark Notman was a great racer when he raced, and, you know, he cut it short to work for Walker Fowler. So he's doing kind of what I do with the KR4, with the Rocky Mountain KR4 Arrive and Ride team. You know, I'm racing through all my little riders.
Vicariously, right?
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, and that was a great choice, I think, for both those guys. I mean, not that Mark was a bad rider, but I think he found a groove in the industry, someplace that a niche that, man, it's hard to fit in those niches like that, and he found he's fit in very well. Look at that high side. Those mud holes are starting to get pretty deep out there, or at least the around them are getting pretty deep.
Yeah, no, it's going to be even more interesting. You see these guys today, like we talked about earlier, I think, about how the skid plates actually hold them up so they can only dig so deep. Well, tomorrow when the bikes go through there, Rodney, that is going to be a mess because there is no bottom with a bike. It just keeps getting down and down and down.
That is. You guys basically, I mean, if you can't ride the center, I imagine that's hard to do. You almost have to drop down into a rut, don't you?
Yeah, you know, right now with the center like that, it's going to be hard and slippery, and it's going to fall. Front wheel will fall on one side, your rear wheel is going to fall on the other, so you're better off, like you said, just dropping that long rut and go. And hopefully, which I'm sure the GNCC crew will do, they'll take Big Dave around there and he'll smooth that out for them.
Cody Collier, the 201 machine checking in. That is your XC2, one of your XC2 riders. I know He made a pro racing debut last year at the Ironman, and by all indications, it looked like he was going to be going pro. Had a chance to talk with him about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and he told me that that wasn't in the cards, that his sponsor said, no, not till you win an XC2 Pro-Am title. Said, you win the XC2 Pro-Am title, then we're going to let you step up. And honestly, I think, even regardless if that's the case or not, I think that he did the right thing, because you got to wonder, was Cody really ready to make that step up? I mean, he's made some very fast changes over the course of the last few years, and to make that transition from XC1 to XC2 after all those other changes, Walker Fowler, by the way, on our picture here, I think that'd be an awful lot to bite off and try to chew for him. But anyway.
No, for sure. I think, that's what the XC2 class is supposed to be. It's that stepping stone to get your feet wet. Maybe catch some of the faster XC1 guys and ride with them a little and just get some experience, because you definitely don't want to jump in that XC1 class and, not do good, because then you lose all your confidence and everything and your sponsor. So you just want to take it little by little, and it's definitely the right move to take this little step into this class. And I agree with the sponsors. You go in there and you beat all those guys, hey, you want to move up, let's move up. And it looks like Neal right now is coming by here, and he's like 40 seconds behind Walker Fowler.
Wow, so that's even doubled more than what we saw last time. So it looks like if Brycen picked up the pace, which I'm beginning to wonder he may not have, certainly Walker Fowler has. Remember, it's been a steady progression of that gap opening since we saw about the 7-second gap between them out there near the 8-mile marker.
Yeah, and two, Walker could have dropped the hammer, and Brycen could be saying, hey, I'm in second place, and this is the first round. I'll take that. And
that's very likely, and that's a strong possibility, Fred, especially after talking with him and knowing his mindset. I mean, you got to think he's being mentored now and managed by Barry Hawk, so you would almost have to think that Barry's probably looking at the big picture just like what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, you mean first, second. Everybody wants to win, but you got to keep yourself. If you can get podiums all year long, you're going to be in contention for that championship, and that's what you need to do. And like you say, Barry's been there, and Barry knows, and he's definitely learning from Barry, and that's going to help him throughout his career and this year. So they're looking at the big picture for sure.
Here's an interesting point to ponder. I haven't done the math myself, but I believe Brycen told me that with the with the bad races and stuff, that last year, if you could have finished third place across the board, you would have come close and never finished off the podium, but stayed third place the entire championship, and everybody else finished the way that they did. You would have been a contender for the championship and nearly probably could have won. There's Chris BORICH making his way through now.
And Chris BORICH coming through there right now. He's 2 minutes and 13 seconds behind Walker Fowler.
Yep. Well, the statement maybe he may be trying to make a statement. He may not be trying to make a statement. Chris BORICH might be in the same ball game as what Brycen Neal is.
Jared McClure, right, Rodney? It looks like that. Maybe Al McGill just a couple seconds ahead of him. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
So it looks like the sneaky snake might be slithering his way up for another spot.
Yep, looking for that fourth place position. So I don't know. I don't know whether Adam expended a lot of energy here in the early part of the race. Now, here's something to point out. The track is rough. We got and Adam's been down here training since, well, the first part of January. Walker's been down here. Chris obviously been down here. The one thing that I wouldn't think would be a problem would be their hands. But when you train, do you train in these rough of conditions, and would the circumstances of race conditions, track being rougher, you possibly pushing it harder because it is race conditions, maybe even sweating a little bit more because it's warm today, would that maybe take a toll on these riders' hands more so than not? I mean, even Brian Wolf, we saw that out of him a few years ago. There's at the 6-mile marker, that is Walker Fowler now making his way through, as we said, 2 minutes ahead of BORICH, but 40 seconds at last check ahead of Brycen Neal. Walker Fowler is back on fire.
Yeah, Ronnie, get back to what you said about the hand thing. I mean, you come down here and you train, you ride for 45 minutes, maybe to an hour, but you stop, you change your gloves, so you got fresh gloves on again. So he could have, your hands can get bad from, if your hands get wet down here, you can't change your gloves. Even though they're pretty tough, that water gets them, soft, and you can get blisters that way. Or he could have just missed his setup. He could have thought, hey, I think maybe this might work here, and it's not working right, and the bike could be wearing him out some. So there's a whole bunch of different factors, because we know Adam McGill, he's tough as nails, and he gives it his all the whole time, so he could have just maybe wore himself out a little bit also.
Wow, I don't. Was that McGill that just went through there in just a second?
No, I don't think so, because we're 50
okay,
seconds
yeah,
into
that
it.
makes sense.
I didn't see Bryce Neal come by, but I could have missed him with
That
those
I
other
was
two
thinking
guys.
the guy that I thought might have been Adam was, or is this Brycen? That's Brycen coming through now, maybe.
Nope, we may. Yeah,
That's
I don't
not
know
him.
if we missed him. Hopefully we missed him, or if he's
I think he might have been there a few moments ago. I may have.
We're a minute and 15 into it
Yeah.
right now, and he hasn't come. Or we, like I said, we definitely.
Well,
maybe missed
I
him,
mean,
but
this
we'll
could
find out.
This could really be a major statement Walker Fowler's trying to make out here. Like I said, man, I mean, he feels like he has a point to prove coming in. I didn't get a chance really to talk to him. I talked to Mark Notman leading into the day's race. Walker was out doing some other things, so I don't really know what Walker's mindset was coming into this today, but we saw the pre-race report there with those guys, with the RacerTV crew out there. So I think he's coming in with a vengeance. He's got a little bad taste in his mouth and maybe a point to prove.
Yeah, you know, when we saw Walker come through there, he came through there and he went a little bit slower in that turn, but if you notice, he cut inside where the smooth grass was. So he's riding smart right now. You know, he's cutting inside. And here comes Chris BORICH right now by. He's about 2 minutes and 2 minutes 6 seconds behind Walker Fowler still. So they're staying about the same on that point right now. And I'd have to say we probably missed Bryce.
I would think so, unless he made a miscalculation out there. And there's McClure. He's gotten around, looks like the 521 of McGill. So there goes McClure, and that is unofficially right now in 4th place. There is McGill.
Adam McGill.
So that would be 5th place unofficially, but no one has seen Brycen Neal. None of the camera guys are saying they saw him go by, and the producers didn't see it either. But I'm again thinking there was about 3 riders that came through. I think he might out at the 8-mile marker now. Fowler back on fire. You can see the flames just shooting out there. Not really, but he is certainly turning it up out there and slicing through the lap traffic. I mean, he looks like he's cutting through hot butter like a hot knife.
You know, right now he's out there on his Yamaha. Right now he's having a lot of fun. This is the most fun he's had all winter. This is why he worked so hard all winter and went away from home, missing his parents, missing everybody, to put all this hard work for this one race, just for today, to make this statement to win this race.
And this statement will carry, I think, a lot of weight throughout not only next weekend, but the first few rounds, man. I mean, this bell that Walker is ringing today, man, he is ringing it loud and proudly.
There's Brycen Neal, so we definitely missed him, so the coastal guys can breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Your boy's still going strong in 2nd place.
I thought I saw him go through, and I think he was still around that 50-second mark, and he's doing just exactly what he needs to do. He's doing exactly what he told me he was going to do earlier this week whenever I interviewed him, and he said he wants to put himself in position and to be there at the end. He says, you know, he's not the type of guy that says he's going to go out and win every race or even wants to win every race. He just wants to be right here on the podium and riding this consistent. Now, Fred, let me ask you, how much of a boost of confidence does this got to be for Brycen Neal now? I mean, all the work paid off. It all came to fruition here today, or it's coming to fruition right now.
Yeah, especially a new team. You know, he had a set program last year. He knew how everybody worked, how his mechanics knew how he was. So coming to the new coastal team with Barry Hawk and everybody, you know, it's a big change. Whether you as a rider, you're like, oh, it's not a change. It's still a quad. You know, I still know what I'm doing. But getting to know everybody and being around the group of guys, he's got himself with a good group of guys. He's a great rider. All his equipment is good, and he went out and did what he needed to do. He got himself on the podium so far. You know, it's not over yet, but if he comes in 2nd place right now, that's just as good as a win to him, because it's just going to boost his confidence in the whole team.
Well, a quick look at the rundown. Many of you folks watching online at RacerTV.com can see the scroll across the bottom of the screen, but right now we are looking at lap number 3 complete, about an hour or 2 hours into this race, and this obviously our last lap. And we need to go up here. Boy, I tell you, I think the computer's still hibernating from this winter. There's Chris BORICH making his way into sight now. And by the way, you know, we were making and joking about Chris BORICH looking like he's riding Chris Bithel's bike, and he even said that he feels like he's getting on Chris Bithel's bike sometimes because we were so used to seeing him with the number 4 out there. I did see Chris Bithel out here. He's out here supporting the GNCC Racing Nation, and glad to see him out with a big smile on his face this weekend.
Yeah, you know, like I said, it's a family. It's hard to stay away. Once you're in it, and he's, you know, come down to support everybody and check things out, and that's what it's all about.
I agree, and you got to wonder, man. I mean, it's easy to make that decision. You can make that decision in the heat of the moment. You know, you're putting in 1,000,000 hours at work. Life is getting you down. You know, you feel like you're under so much pressure, and you say, well, maybe if it's time for me to go ahead and retire. Then once it happens and everything eases up, you're back to, man, why did I retire? I could still be making this work. I'm sure there's a lot of that going on right now, too.
Yeah, you know, you come to a point in your life where, you know, this is a great thing, but you got to grow up, I guess you would say, and get a family and start working and get a real paycheck and all that. I mean, and you still love it. I bet in a few years he comes back and does a few just to have fun and ride. You know, I know when I quit racing, I said, I'm done.
Fowler just refused water there in the pits, Fred Andrews, and we saw him taking that drink of water last time around, but just said no. He's got about 3 miles to go, and I think he didn't want to put any needed undue pressure on him by reaching out to get a water bottle, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that last lap was close. He's probably getting signs saying that he's starting to pull away a little bit from BRYCEN NEAL, and that's all he needed to do, and he's confidence level is good, and he's kind of relaxed, and he's riding and having fun, and he's not even thinking about drinking water right now. He's just thinking about getting that Yamaha to the finish line.
Well, right now we wait to see there BRYCEN NEAL behind some lap traffic now into the VP Fuels Pro Row, and NEAL has done exactly what he needed to do, what he set out to do. He even said, just want to be in that podium. I just want to be in position heading into Georgia and be strong and solid coming out of that. So he is certainly on his way to that path, I think. And right now we are less than 4 minutes. So Walker Fowler grabs the HOLESHOT award. He picks himself up an extra $250. And there is Walker Fowler at the 10-mile marker, still just a couple of miles away from concluding this historic ride here today from Palatka.
And you can see, Rodney, he isn't slowing down any. You know, he's still got the hammer down, still going fast. Just faster he goes, the sooner he gets to that finish line.
A lot of, yeah, exactly. Faster, quicker he gets there, the faster it's over. I get it. And I'm sure with the way the sun's starting to beat down, Fred, it's not miserable out there. But with that riding gear, and for a lot of guys that have not been used to the temperatures, even guys in Florida, they tell me it's been a little cooler down here lately. Warmer temperatures are going to can play a toll on you.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, Rodney. You know, you're bouncing around, you're fighting, your body's heating up, you're overheated, and I mean that gear is good. It gets good breathing, but you know your body's still getting so hot, and this, like you said, sun's out. These guys are tough.
There's Chris BORICH making his way through the pits now. And, you know, after all in all, I think that BORICH has got to walk away with this one with a I'm sure he's not going to be as satisfied, but you got to say this is a positive day for Chris BORICH as well. He rode a strong race, a solid race with Adam McGill. Those guys had a good battle going on all day, and whether his setup was off, whether he was off, whether the motor wasn't running real strong, whatever the case may be, Chris is still salvaging, number one and most importantly, some very valuable championship points. No, they aren't. It isn't the statement that he's set to come out here and make by taking the win and posting up another win in his historic most wins category at 72 right now and post up 73. But what he is doing, he's putting himself in position for 13 rounds of racing, and that's what a true champion does, Fred.
Yeah, you know, you build on every race, and actually last year he got fourth, so he did one better than last year. He got himself a third, and like we said earlier, you consistently put yourself on the podium, you're going to be there for the championship. And, you know, he came out, granted he's on Old Yeller, but he hasn't been on Old Yeller for a while, so he probably had to, under race conditions, you know,
right.
Practicing is totally different than racing.
He did not race the first race throughout this entire offseason. He told me that, so I do know that for sure. So the BORICH, the bandit himself, is maybe, you know, not real sure and wasn't real sure where the pace was. So now he knows where the pace is. He's only got a couple days to really go out and find it. but more importantly to him, after Georgia, he's got even more time. Look at this. McClure is snaking his way right up there. He is now within about 15 to 20 seconds of the rear wheels of Chris BORICH, and he's still got some time as Walker Fowler makes his way around the finish line and takes the win here at the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. Walker Fowler is your champion, and man, let me tell you, he flew through those woods and snuck right into that finish line, but the crowd did not miss him. They were cheering as he came into sight, and he protected his weekend, just like Amsoil says there, and he protected that number 1 plate, and that heading into the second round here in just a few days. An all-new racetrack there in beautiful Georgia. I believe it's Camp Coker, if memory serves me correct, if I'm not mistaken. I know that we've been there in years past. I haven't ever been there, Fred, but you know about it yourself. Here comes BRYCEN NEAL in for the number 2 spot. Look at the energy that he's still displaying right here. We'll do a quick checkup to see what the actual gap was. It was 22 seconds, almost 23 seconds a lap ago at the end of lap number 3, at the end of lap number 4. We'll know more about it here in a moment. But wow, BRYCEN NEAL is exactly where he needed to be, where he wanted to be. And this right here gives me, again, some excitement. I said it. I don't necessarily gauge what the rest of the season is going to bring, but I almost have to venture to say that this year might be a little different. This might be a little better indication of where the competition is going to lie today or this year. And I think in reality, you look at this, I think we're looking at least 5 solid riders that are going to be in that type of scenario. Fowler, NEAL, BORICH, McGill, and McClure. And I don't think it's long before Cole Richardson's will be right there as well and putting his hat into the realm. By the way, Greg Covert up to a number 6 place overall. The gap between Walker Fowler and BRYCEN NEAL, 45 seconds when they came through the finish line there. BRYCEN, there's Barry Hawk down congratulating his rider.
Funny thing about that ride, now I saw BRYCEN NEAL come in, take off his helmet, he's all smiles. I see Barry Hawk get a drink of water. I think Barry was more wore out watching him race than BRYCEN was racing, because BRYCEN took that helmet off, man. He looked strong. He looked strong, and it was good. And Chris BORICH coming to the finish line now, and you know, Chris got a 3rd place today. He did good. He, you know, like you said, I think Old Yeller first maybe a real race on it in a year or so. So he's got room to grow, and he's going to be upset that he didn't win, but I think he's going to be happy that he got this first race out of the way.
Well, here, he has not raced Old Yeller under race conditions since the Ironman 2014. So you're looking at a year and a half since he's raced that machine under these conditions, actually raced it. So this is a good gauge, good turning point, a good learning day for Chris BORICH, and the title hunt is still safe. The title still remains up in the air, and by all speculations, this championship year is going to be exactly what we touted it as, still as the bet yet to come.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, we're going to be having a lot of fun announcing, and the TV show is going to be great. We're going to see a lot of good racing, and I'm excited for it. You know, we waited all year long for this to happen, and you always wonder how these guys are all going to do, or, you know, hey, he's a year older, how's he going to be? But all these guys are tough. These guys are tough and ready, and it's going to be a great season.
It is, and they are. And
look at Johnny B. Bad out there.
Johnny B. Bad is bad at the 111, no fear day, baby. But we see Caleb Russell standing down there as well. There's Mark Notman washing some things off. Is Mark helping out, or is that just the way the camera looks like he's over there helping Chris out a little bit? I'm not sure, but
yeah, you know, Andrew DeLong's over there with Chris BORICH too. Those guys trained together all winter. Andrew stays at his house, and you know, we got a lot of four-wheeler pro motocross or pro off-road guys that are friends, and they train together, and it's cool to see that, you know, they support each other. And look at that big crowd over there. Everybody's just happy to get this year started.
Paul Bowerly from Amsoil here with us as well. Mark is now, he's working on, he's washing off Walker's ATV. They're getting ready to take him over to the podium. You know, a lot of work goes into getting those machines cleaned back up for these teams. We want to see them dirty, just to see how much weight and everything they're carrying up there. But they want to show and showcase their sponsors, so they're going to be doing that. They're going to be heading over in just a few moments. We got our top 3 in. We got, again, Fowler, NEAL, and BORICH. And, man, wow, here's another interesting point. Here at the end of the day, how much things have spread out. That's pretty interesting, Fred, because a lot of these guys are pretty close together, but these gaps are pretty wide. you know, they always say who did their homework, who was in the best shape leading into this one, whatever the case may be. I'm going to tell you right now, I think they're every one in great shape, and I don't know if talent, luck, destiny, fate, what had played its role in today's race, but whatever it was, man, there's some people coming away with some pretty big smiles. Chris BORICH may not be as big as he wanted, but he's got to be satisfied.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, you know, and there looks like Jared McClure came across for 4th place, and Adam McGill got into 5th. So, you know, that top 5, that's a solid group of guys. And Cole Richardson, we're still waiting for him to come in 6th. So, you know, the list just keeps going on and on of great riders that we have in this class.
Well, podium presentation's just around the corner, and we'll have a chance to hear firsthand how this race all broke down and how these guys are feeling as we get set to roll into Georgia in just, well, a little less than a week right now. GNCC Live continues here on RacerTV.com.
Any engine, any season. At home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL for any engine.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best?
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
Daytona International Speedway is synonymous with four-wheeled action, but getting airborne on four wheels, well, that's a new experience. Come check it out on Tuesday afternoon with the second annual Fly Racing ATV Supercross right here at Daytona International Speedway. Come watch high flyers like defending series champion Chad Wienen, challengers like Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, and Jeff Rastrelli, and last year's Supercross winner John Natale this Tuesday right here at Daytona.
And welcome back to GNCC Live from Galactic, Florida, the season opener as we celebrate our 42nd year of off-road here in the world of the GNCC Racing Nation. Rodney Tomlin along with Fred Andrews and, of course, Megawatt Matt Watson will be joining us here on the podium with the star power here in just a few moments as he's bringing the stars to the box. And, man, there's a lot to talk about here today. Again, if you're just checking in with us, Walker Fowler taking a rather convincing and phenomenal win here in the sands of Florida today. A 45-second win over Brycen NEAL, who posted up one of his strongest and most consistent rides of his career in the XC1 Pro class. I think we're seeing a glimpse of what the future holds there. Chris BORICH in a dogfight all day long. It looked like, Fred. Him and Adam McGill, they just got it. I think as much as anything, they got locked up together, and everybody else just kind of got away. I think could have been one way to look at it.
Yeah, you know, when those two got locked up together, I figured they would have carried each other, but it seemed like that's all they had at that point. You know, and Walker Fowler and Brycen NEAL, it seemed like they would inched away. But you know, I'm not sure why that happened, but you know, usually when guys get locked together, they can push each other forward. But like you said, the racing there, they were racing. Jared McClure was coming up through. You know, Cole Richardson was there, and we had so many different guys to watch. It was crazy how things were heading out.
It was, and you know, I mean, and so long. I mean, the laps. We're looking at lap times, 32 minutes plus. I mean, when you look at things, I mean, and that put our race only about 7 minutes over the 2-hour mark. But man, I mean, those longer lap times, they do seem to take a toll on these guys. And 7 minutes may not seem like a lot, but we're talking about Florida sand and whoops and wetness and all that. It might take a little more out of you than a normal 7 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, 2 hours and 7 minutes in the sand is not like 2 hours and 7 minutes in the dirt, because like we said earlier, there's no rest whatsoever. When you're in the sand, the bike's working, you're fighting it. Even if you're flowing with a bike, your body's always moving, you're holding on tighter. And when you're in the dirt, you can rest a little bit, you know, you can go around some bumps, but the sand, there is no getting around it. So that 2 hours and 7 minutes is probably like 2.5 hours on dirt.
I agree, and maybe more for somebody in the shape that I'm in. It probably more like 4 hours, to be honest with you, because that's a big key coming into this first round. You got to be, I mean, you do have to be in a little better shape, I think. Look at that, rising up to the podium. This is a good way to start out the season for Chris BORICH. As we said, it's not the win that he wanted, but he is back into podium position, and these are the types of places you got to be in the hunt for things. And there he is, man. It's so good to see him up there. And, you know, he doesn't look as frustrated, I don't think, as what I expected. There is some disappointment on his face right now, but right there, just kind of a shrug off right there. Yeah, we'll get it. That's what I'm seeing out of him right now.
Yeah, I think he's up there going right now. You know, he's learned he needs to change things a little bit here or there in his program, maybe to get his bike set up a little bit different or whatever. But overall, I'm sure he's really happy, because getting back on Old Yellow, it could have all went wrong. He could have got 10th today, and then he thought, oh, did I really make the right move? So he made the right step. He's going forward. So, you know, he'll be there. He's no doubt. He's a champion for... It wasn't a fluke, you know. Being a champion that long, you know what you're doing. He's going to know how to get Old Yeller back where he needs to be, and he's happy, and he's on the box. So how could you not be happy?
Exactly, and a point well proven. And I tell you, probably the happiest guy here today, though, is getting ready to come up to the center of the box, as we'll welcome Walker Fowler up there in just a moment. By the way, still trying to get some updates from some of the others. I'm going to have to go on my phone, I think, because our link, for some reason, is being powered by snails, I think, Fred Andrews, the way things are working there. So we got, well, no, I think we've only got 6 guys in. Fowler, NEAL, BORICH, your top 3. Jared McClure finished in 4th. Adam McGill drops to 5th place. Josh Merritt, the number 14 out of Akron, Ohio, moved up into the number 6 spot. So now the question becomes, what happened to Cole Richardson? So we'll just have to wait with bated breath to find out. Looks like top amateur heading into this one was Hunter Hart in your college A class. So he was running 13th overall. That's pretty impressive, Fred. A top amateur in the sands of Florida, 13th overall.
It sure is. Where's he from? Is he a sand guy?
No, he's a New Yorker, but he has spent a little bit of time down here this winter with Adam McGill, who says that nobody realized he was down here training.
Yeah, you know, right there, that's the key. You come down here, if you're fortunate enough to be able to come down here and do some training in the sand, it seems like it always definitely helps, because, you know, we're used to riding up north where we got rocks and roots and stuff, but the sand is a different animal. If you can become one with the sand, you can get a good result, and, man, my hat's off to him. He rode the wheels off that thing today, but one thing's for sure, I'm sure he's a little tuckered out.
That's for sure. You see the crowd going wild down there as Walker Fowler makes his way up onto the podium, and we got one more to bring up, and there he comes up, I think, in just a moment as we welcome the second place rider, Mr. Brycen Neal. How about it, Wild Boar race fans? I want to hear you guys make some noise and welcome to the podium our top 3 overall. In 3rd place, your 6-time GNCC champion, Chris BORICH, on board the number 4. In the number 2 spot, the young gun who's coming or gunning, that of course is Brycen Neal, and your 2016 Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC champ, your defending champion, and again now points leader, Walker Fowler. And I tell you, Megawatt Matt Watson, as we throw things down there to you on the podium right now, what an atmosphere that's got to be going on down there. Excitement in the air everywhere as Johnny B. Bad is running around here. And there is Brycen B. Bad as well, as he rode a very phenomenal race. And again, man, this new era, it's starting out, and there may have to be some adjustment in some of the programs, but we've got ourselves a great look at what 2016 is going to hold here as we head down to the podium. Megawatt Matt Watson in our top 3 overall.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rodney. Hey, let's hear it, Florida. Put your hands together for our top 3 here today. Walker Fowler, Chris Borsche, and the number 5 machine of BRYCEN, NEAL, getting it done today. I want to tell you something. If you guys weren't here, you missed it. No doubt about it. An amazing race here under amazing conditions. Where's Ken Hill at? Ken, do we have our group photos taken care of? Where's Kenny at? Do we have everybody taken care of? All right, looks like we've got everybody all ready together. Chris, here we are, round 1, up on the box already. Now, we listened to some preseason talk. You were confident. You felt good about the program. You felt good about the offseason. You predicted a podium finish right from the start and pretty much predicted you're going to work your way through the season at a steady, consistent pace like this. So you got to be pleased with today.
Yeah, very happy with today. Kind of a bummer to get a poor start, but I think we were 5th or 6th going into the woods, and it was just real hard to pass out there. It was real train tracky, just nowhere to really pass until somebody would make a mistake, and I was able to get by MCCLURE and caught up to McGill and thought he was ripping good, and I guess we were just losing a little bit of time, and I was able to finally get past him in the pit area. He stopped and grabbed the water and scored it by him and was able to put a good amount of time on him. So kind of bummed I got kind of held up, not held up, but just got kind of fell into that the rut just following. And but no, really happy, pleased with the bike. Like you said, podium. I'm healthy. Good, having fun.
Good position to head to round 2, no doubt about it. I know you got a ton of people that helped put this yellow machine up here. I know you got a bunch of people you want to thank. Who are they, bud?
Oh yeah, definitely my mom and my dad. My wife Dawn, my brother, my buddy Steve Handy, Paul from Wales that came over, just our buddy Frenchie, he came from Jersey. Just everybody that's a part of the group and friends and stuff like that, just always pushing me and want me to do my best. And definitely a great list of people that helped me out as well. Maxxis Tires worked great out there. I mean, can't thank those guys enough. We got Wiseco, CV4, Scott Goggles, Renthal Bars, Forworks, Acerbies, Brian McCormick, and the whole family there from Yield Cycle Barn. They definitely helped this program out a lot, and probably couldn't do it without them as well. So thank you. SSI Decals, VP Fuels, Fox Shocks were working awesome out there once I was able to start rolling. So Tire Balls, Quad Tech, Evans, Hyper, OIP, NRG Controls, Trek, IQ, Precision, Hinson, Walsh Racing, Mike and those guys that came out, awesome components. HMF, Amsoil, the guys from Amsoil, great oil. I mean, clutch worked flawless the whole time. Fly Racing, Chris Harris and those guys from Fly, their new 2016 edition gear is pretty BA. So, and Shoei helmets and just everybody out there. I appreciate you guys cheering me on.
Let's hear it for Chris Borsche. You guys put your hands together. 3rd place today, making it on the box of round 1, Chris Borsche. Now making our way over here to this number 5 machine. Bryson, let me get on the other side of you, buddy. I tell you, you got a grin from ear to ear. You shocked yourself, I'm sure, and a lot of people today. You put in a great ride. You knew you had the speed. You knew you had the conditioning to run up here. You needed a good start, man, and you got in it right from the start. You were in the hunt, and you had to be pleased with that right away.
Yeah, we got a good jump on the start. We started going to the woods, and right before the finish line, we was able to get by Adam, and I don't know, we just flowed, and we tried to stay loose. We tried not to get arm pump and tried not to overdo it, and we just rode our own race and brought it on home for 2nd.
Bryson, I got to tell you, you look like you've been on this machine, the Coastal team, for years. You guys look like you've got your stuff together. I've talked to the bosses over there a few times. I know exactly what's going on in the program, and you guys came down here nothing less than to get on the box, looking for a win, I'm sure. But you guys have got to be pleased because you look like seasoned veterans working as a team.
Yeah, I know we're all relieved. We're all happy. I mean, those guys, they've been working their butts off at the shop. I mean, 45 straight hours, overnighters. I mean, working. I mean, phone call after phone call. I mean, they really deserve it. I mean, they did all the work for me, and I'm just pleased that I'm able to put this bike up on the podium and get 2nd place today, and get to thank them for all the work that they've done for me, because this wouldn't be possible without the whole Coastal squad putting in all those hours, all that time, and helping me out. And we we'd really like to thank all of our great sponsors today. I mean, MSR and Maxxis Tires, Lone Star, FMF, Dirtworks, Bel-Ray, DWT Wheels, WYATT, Henson, Pro Taper, Twin Air, Super B Batteries, Stuck MX, everybody else, the Cervix. I sure do appreciate it. You guys have all been a great help, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you again next weekend. So thank you guys very much.
Hey, well, congratulations on a great ride. Folks, make some noise. Here is Brycen NEAL, second place here today. And over here in the middle, hey, let me tell you something. This guy picking up right where he left off. Walker, no stranger to the middle of the podium over here. No question. Used to being on the center step, we'll call it. I want to tell you something. You got that start. You got a nice little gap put away and established early in the race. And I tell you, it looked like you almost put it on cruise control on about lap number 2, like you were kind of conserving the energy, maybe saving the equipment a little bit, but you just looked really relaxed.
You know, that was the goal. I kept making a bunch of mistakes, actually. I think I had it up to almost 30 seconds, and then I had to get off. I hit a tree, get back on, and that's where there was 2 spots. There was a TV section in the back that we did last year, and I had kept the same gap, but I had an issue, so I was like, all right, I'm like 15 seconds ahead again. No sooner did I think that, and right in front of the camera and everything, I had to get off. I missed a berm, so he gained like a bunch more time on me there, and I think it was down to like 5 or 8 seconds, and I was just like, man, like, this is usually Adam, this is usually Chris, and now it's Brycen, so it's like, well.
No rest for the wicked, man. You're a marked man right now, and you know what? It's not just 2 or 3 guys. It's every guy out there that wants your position.
Yeah, absolutely, and these guys aren't messing around. They've all been down here training and riding hard, and it definitely shows. Like I said, it took to the last lap for me to finally be able to get some, comfortable time, 10, 15 seconds. In 1 mile, you can make that up if, the leader has a mistake and you're really pushing. So I felt more comfortable if I could get it back over 30 and then just cruise, because there was a lot of little things, little stumps, and there's a burnt section back here that's just nasty, and it was just like, all right, get through the stuff that you have to go fast in, and then the stuff where you need to go slow, just cruise, because we don't want any dumb mistakes. Luckily we got tire balls in these tires. We got a flat, and I think about half the balls must be broke, because it's pretty flat. But we got to the end of the race, and I thought it was my shot giving out, but it was good to know that I just had a flat, and I didn't even notice I had a flat tire, so that's pretty cool.
That's a daggone good thing. Now, I tell you, like I said, you're starting this season right where you left off. You have to be pleased. Come down here, start with a win. The bike's in great shape. You're in great shape. And here we are headed to round 2 in perfect position.
Absolutely. We get to line up first again, and, that's really awesome to be able to pick your starting spot. Makes a heck of a difference to be 1 quad here, 1 quad there. And like you said, this is good momentum, and, it just proves that we put in the work and the preparation that I thought we were doing. It's hard. There were very few races this winter to really gauge where everyone was. A lot of the FTR races got canceled, so it was just it was a blind winter basically. Everyone didn't know what anyone was doing, and obviously these cats up here put in the work, and my teammate, he was really putting in the work too, but he got the bug that I got last year, I think. So hopefully he heals up in a week, and I'm sure he'll be up here in no time. So get well, Cole.
Yeah, get well, Cole, no doubt. Hey, I know that you have a bunch of people that helped you make this possible here, and that you want to thank today.
Oh, absolutely. I just first and foremost want to give the glory to God, and I definitely can't thank my the whole NFAB Impro Yamaha team enough. These guys do an awesome job for us. My mechanic, Mark Notman, a couple of days ago, I'm pretty sure he was about to step away from me, because we were having a heck of a time getting me happy. I guess maybe when you get to be the champion, you start getting really picky about your setup, and we just weren't nailing it. But yesterday at 5 o'clock, we finally got this thing exactly where I wanted it, and today, wire to wire, I think we nailed it. So I'm glad that he deals with me and puts up the work, because it's awesome to be able to ride a bike this good. Definitely have to thank the Piper family and everyone that come from there, Lake Placid area. Thank you guys so much for helping me out, and Chuck Piper for helping me with starts. Like, obviously, the man knows something. Derek Tremaine and his little son over here in Marisa, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. And everyone, the FTR people that are here, you guys are awesome. You guys make me so happy. The Barbers, Darren, thank you guys. Beautiful girlfriend, Elisa, thank you so much. Definitely have to thank Moto Experts, Lone Star. These Maxxis tires hooked up awesome today. Hiller National Trucks, MSR Gear, Fox Suspension. Got a great setup going. DP Brakes, Larry Mills is here. Thank you. And then Donnie Luz from Yamaha is here. Thank you, sir, for making the trip. Tire balls, like I said, we got a flat today, and you know, we finished, we still won, and it didn't hold us back. So thank you, tire balls. Hyper wheels, Vortex, Precision, Yamalube, Moto Seat, FMF, outerwears, Cycra, anti-gravity batteries. VP Racing Fuels is a new sponsor this year. Great consistent fuel, and it's awesome to have, like I said, consistent. That way you pour in the bike and the setup stays the same. Thank you, VP Fuels. Wiseco Fuel Customs, Waynesburg Yamaha, Atlas neck brace. This thing is awesome. Super happy with it. IMS CV4 webcams, Works Connection, GYTR, DID, TM Design Works, D4 Power Sports, Derek Tremaine, thank you again. My dad, D&V Trucking, A+ Powder Coating, Bell Helmet, Scott Goggles. My man, Paul Turner, he's another behind-the-scenes guy, and definitely another shout-out to Bill Balance if he's still here. He's been helping us out a little bit this winter. Just a lot of tips and tricks, so it's super awesome that he can do that. Harlan Foley, ATV Riders, thank you. Ken Hill as well. Amy McConnell, and all you awesome fans, thank you so much. Really do appreciate everything. Awesome to get a good start to the year.
There you have it. Well done and well said, Walker Fowler. We're going to hand you this bottle of champagne right here. We're going to get you guys lined up for the super spray here. I'll put that on the seat for you. And then we're going to present you with your HOLESHOT award right after we spray this too. So we'll get that taken care of while you're up here.
Yeah, I'd like to, I totally forgot my good buddy John. He used to be my old mechanic, and he's been down here busting his butt, helping me out, and just had so much on my mind, buddy. But I appreciate everything you do. You're here, and we'll be back.
Right on, Chris. Heartfelt thank you to John out there for sure. Get these guys together. Bryson, step on up here, man. Give these guys a drink out there. Put your hands together one more time. Chris Borsch, Walker Fowler, and Brycen Neal.
Well, as we always like to say, to the victor goes the spoils, and the spoils in GNCC Racing, the sweet, sweet spray of champagne. And, of course, we want to say congratulations to Megan Carey at Megan Nicole 853. She picked Fowler, Neal, and McGill as far as our AMSOIL Twitter contest, and she will receive $250 in AMSOIL products. She hashtagged that GNCC and hashtag GNCC Live. You can do the same thing. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, so we'll be giving away another $250 in AMSOIL product. Be sure and follow along. And we'll also be doing it on Monday and Tuesday as we begin today, our first day of 4 days of broadcasting. We'll actually have 5 live broadcasts. In the meantime, we've got another live broadcast coming up here just a little bit as we'll bring the side-by-sides to Florida for, if I'm not mistaken, the very first time. So that's going to be interesting to see, and there's no doubt about that. Go ahead down to the podium one more time. I think Megawatt's got a few more things that he wants to pass along to the folks. Might be just some shout-outs. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Put your hands together one more time for our top 3 overall. Walker Fowler, your champion. Brycen Neal in second. Chris Borch in third.
Hey, Rodney, while we've got everybody down here together, we've still got Walker up on the podium. As you can see, he's holding that XC1 HOLESHOT award. Compliments of Wiseco Performance. Round 1 here, the Wild Boar, so easier to win it from out front. You had it from start to finish, my man. You had to be pleased with it, and there's an extra $250 courtesy of Wiseco.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wiseco, another one of our sponsors. This thing, she fired right up. Toby Reed does a lot of extensive Vortex tuning, and like I said, my man Chuck Piper got me some tips and tricks on the start, so it was good to look over at Adam and give him the number 1 today.
Awesome. Make some noise for all our XC1 contenders. A great day of racing here so far. We're going to take a minute, switch out to podium, be right back to with our XC2 Pro-Am riders.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Megawatt. Here on RacerTV.com, we're going to push the reset switch, and we will be back in just a few moments to go UTV racing. And in the meantime, we're going to continue celebrations down here with our XC2 Pro-Am class, and GNCC Live will continue shortly. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV and this first round of GNCC Racing, the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Good day, everybody.